do nouns have a good chance in game 2?
They have a better chance than they did in game 1. I think that.
Okay.
That's a good start. Yeah, that's game 1. I think I've already forgotten. I think I'm with the NA fans. I don't. There was a game 1. I don't remember watching.
Never
that.
happened.
Nothing like a 24-1 score line. No. And that's exactly what nouns should be doing as well. Just forget that game. It didn't exist. Try to play your game out here. It's a rather interesting draft. You've got the Razor mid for copy into a Monkey King matchup from GPK. You've got the Razor eventually to deal with the Troll, but then you have the Troll to deal with the Ursa. You have this Gunner offlane Tusk that we haven't seen in forever. We heard Jenkins with a build, something like Blink and Pipe, a mix of auras and a little bit of a touch of that mid Tusk in. I'm going to be really interested to see if Gunner has a much better lane than last time. There should be more play here. I mean, you've gotten a lot more potential to run down with the damage you have from Lelis this time around, so it should lead to a better time. And if Gunner has a game, there is a connection to be made here for nouns this time.
It certainly is. A bit of damage being spread out here. Not too much to really write home about, as seems like most of that was Toronto Tokyo taking some damage out. Still, we can start as usual with the mid lane, of course, where you are going to have, or rather copy, excuse me, against GPK. It's a Razor versus Monkey King matchup, so you'd have to assume copy should have a pretty decent advantage.
Yeah, it should be pretty happy for the Razor. Obviously, you're not going to get too much static links off, but it's still going to cut off how much GPK can farm up. I'm really interested to see what GPK will do with a Simian Stride. Like, if he's going to look for early rotations, try to leverage this for rune control, call his supports in here while he hangs in tree line for initiation. There's a lot of angles with core monkeys going into Simian Stride now as well. But laning-wise, Copy should just be perfectly fine. He can create spacing with a Plasma Field. He can always threaten if the jump is there with a static link. And that will make this a little bit more of a passive lane for GPK. More passive than I think a Monkey King would necessarily want. Although, you still have to watch for a little bit of that damage from the Boundless. There is still some play for GPK to just shove and farm up here safely.
Certainly is. Look at that top lane, John. You've got Psyker and Toronto Tokyo against Gunner. And of course, Lelis. And here we go. They're going to make the chase. Toronto Tokyo, he will land the deluge. And, well, Lelis will survive this time around. The thing is, though, you and I were speaking about this while the draft was ongoing. And it does feel like the Troll Naga lane, it feels pretty busted in the right hands, rather. And I wonder how Gunner will deal with it here with Lelis. It just seems like this should be a pretty scary lane if you are Nouns.
And it is, especially as the levels go up for Toronto Tokyo once he has the Ensnare to set up. Get the Deluge off, you get a couple of lucky roots out from Psyka, it's going to last forever. Of course, there is, again, more play here from Nouns. Gunner with the early tag team with a long-range poke that the Snapfire has this time with a Scatter Blast. It certainly is a lot more playable than the last game with a Sand King Tinker. That lane just felt super passive. This time around, Gunner can look to pressure in, and it is making it slightly uncomfy for Psyka. Every single time Toronto Tokyo's been walking up with the Deluge, he has been getting blasted and back with a Scatter Blast and just prevents that connection that they want to play off of here for BBT. So just heads up positioning from Lelis to keep that back, keep that damage kind of tied in. Of course, for Toronto Tokyo, the one big thing with the Naga, with the illusions, is it's going to be really easy to manage this lane. Get some pulls, get some stacks going. That economy build-up for Psyka is going to ramp up real quick if you don't keep track of it here from Lelis.
Absolutely. And the final lane, of course, you're looking at it right now. Miro and Save against Fly and Yuma. For now, it seems like Yuma's having a bit of a challenging time, as Save is able to just kind of zone them out with all the sticky napalm spam. So Miero's going to be off to another great start. And the thing is, with the Ursa versus Primal Beast matchup, you know, usually the Ursa would be able to bully him out just a little bit. But not so much the case right now with Save on the Bat Rider, just ensuring that Miero can close the gap and secure that farm.
Yeah, it gets a little bit awkward to try to play with, say, Enchant and Earthshock Aggression onto Miero. Sure, he doesn't have Onslaught, but he gets a little bit more durable as you commit with the Uproar. There's the Flame Break to worry about from Save. And you don't really want to take that risk right now for Yuma. Oh.
They're going to try with the shards, but Toronto's coming in to help out, and well, they're not really doing enough damage. Gunner's going to be forced to try and run away, though Psyka's just getting right to work. It was a nice little attempt, but even with the level 2 tag team of Gunner, the damage is lacking quite a bit.
And it is. They need to poke and prod from a distance a couple more times. They are wasting all of Saika's regen. He's already out, as again, he was poked down earlier. And it's a rather interesting one as well. Saika doesn't get a value point in Berserker's Rage, just opting to focus on the Axis. The increased stat resist is nice for the added slow, the added mischance. Duration as well is going to be pretty big, so that is something to watch out for. If you do actually fully commit outside of your spells, Saika's not going to be the easiest target as long as Toronto Tokyo gets a mirror image out with the deluge going.
So far 0-0, 4.5 minutes in. So pretty even kind of game so far between these two teams, at least in terms of kill score. Even the laning stage does seem substantially better than last game around, at least for nouns. Copy's having a much better time on this mid-Razor comparatively to the mid-Quap he was playing last game. Meanwhile, GPK does take a bounty, or rather, excuse me, a water rune, and is going to make his rotation to the bounty. Meanwhile, Yuma does end up dying. Save able to secure the kill, as Save does eventually go down, but they didn't even need the rotation from GPK. Just Save gets it done himself.
He does. Do manage to get that commitment. Again, Miero does not have anything like the Onslaught, so they're just playing off the Batrider. Flame Break, spam and slows. They are getting a little bit of damage up top. Gunner's starting to drop fairly low.
It certainly is. Gunner still being chased down. The axes will slow him down just a little bit more, but Gunner's going to be okay. Toronto unable to continue chasing past the tier 1 tower. And all things being said and done, even though the lane did seem a little bit challenging, Gunner still has found some decent farm. While that's happening though, down at bottom lane, looks like GPK is thinking about a rotation. And he's making his move now. They do jump in for the onslaught. Yuma again being targeted, and he is certainly just dead. There is just no saving this Ursa. Save to pick up another kill on the Batrider. And Fly, I mean, he's still being chased down, but it doesn't really seem like they care for Fly. It'd be a mission to find that kill. They'd rather just not waste their time.
Yep. A little bit of a chase over to Bounty Runes as well. Toronto Tokyo getting poked pretty hard from Lelis.
Oh, he might be dead. The image is out. He's all right. Lelis doesn't want to deal with it. So your one saving grace right now is Copy finding a lot of farm on the Razor, and Gunner's not doing too bad either. They're going to try and make the play on the Psyker. Top lane, they'd love a Troll Warlord kill. He's still level 5, but he's looking for a TP play out, and he's gonna make it.
Oh, no.
So close as well with the Centaur Conqueror, but just not quite close enough. As now bottom lane, they know Yuma's alone. But Save not going to dive in, as it seems like Miero's a little bit preoccupied with a creep wave.
And he is getting some farm going, has the phase boots up, not quite at 6, so no pulverize up just yet. And good news for Nouns, even though they don't find the kill top, they will find the objective. Top tier 1 gone relatively early here, 7 minutes in. So they've got some extra room to finagle their way around, find some safe farm, contest a little bit further out, try to catch Saika off guard if he's not too careful here. I don't think BBT minds too much though. Again, they're getting steady build up for GPK. They've got the levels ramping up here for Miero. They'll be able to trade tier 1 bot now as well. No signs of defense coming out here from Nouns anytime soon. And you still need more items up anyhow from Nouns to really sustain. Like, you only... I mean, we're at the point where everyone just has power treads. It can be... it's still relatively early to think about deep commitment. They are looking at mid, though.
Certainly looking at mid. Toronto Tokyo. Well, this takes a bit of damage here from Lelis, but ultimately nothing to write home about. He'll be just fine to retreat. And it seems like Nouns are setting up for a nice little early push here in the mid-tier 1 tower. You've got GPK hanging around the tree line, but I highly doubt he'll be able to defend this on his own. No siege creep available, so it could just be a bit of chip damage to come out with this enchanted creep from Fly. Though Save is rotating on the Batrider, and it seems like the defense is actually going to kind of work out. Bit of damage, but nothing to really worry about here for BBT.
Pretty heads up from GPK, just pulled the wave, cleared out safely away from these heroes. They spot out this rotation as well with some good defensive wards from the side of BBT, so you shouldn't be able to find Saika here either. And Nouns for their clump up aren't really finding anything. They are giving a ton of room out for Yuma to try to hit this farm timing with, say, the Battle Fury into the Blink BKB, but that's still a ways off as well. Our Ursa bottom network core, at the moment, only 500 gold above her Batrider support, so much more time before the Ursa becomes a factor in this game whatsoever. And which also means you don't need to worry about Rush anytime soon here for BBT.
Thinking about Yuma again down to that bottom lane, but Yuma's just too close to his tier 2 towers. Instead, we'll just secure their own stacks here. GPK and Save will go ahead and take care of their own. And net worth is still very close between these two sides, though. Just a 1k advantage is the way of BBT. Now, Yuma, I'm looking back at the Ursa's farm, like it's just not comparative to what we saw last game, where there was a Battle Fury at the 11-minute mark. He hasn't even really got one component of that Battle Fury yet, sadly, on the Ursa.
No, it's way far off.
Toronto, I mean, maybe they could secure a nice easy Naga kill, but it's not really proving to be that easy. Scanner, he'll try for the shards out, but Toronto just going to juke him and TP away. So no freebie here for Gunner, sadly. A very happy Toronto Tokyo getting away once again. And both sides seem more than happy to just play the slow game, it seems like, for game number 2. Obviously, for Nouns, I think they're more than happy to play this style of game, but I think I'm a bit more surprised by BBT. I thought after game 1 they'd be a little bit more assertive about this.
Yeah, it almost seemed like it, especially with, again, this full last pick for Saika into the Razor, just almost a full confidence pick. Or just opting to ramp up. I think it's also down to their supports, right? Like, you've got Naga support, you've got Batrider support. Neither one can really connect that easily or start these fights for you. You need to blink up on save. You didn't have a runaway lane from Yarrow. It was a free lane, but not something that where he completely stopped and got early timing, still waiting for his full blade mail as well. So there is some waiting to be done. It's now into the field, it's a little bit itchy to find a kill. They've been playing aggressively on the opposite side. Gunner, though.
Top lane, Gunner. Gonna be an easy target, it seems like, for the side of BBT. Try to snowball away, TP out, and there is no easy target. Gunner is fine. Very, very nice TP play out, as now Nouns, seeing the opening, do try to go for that tier 1 mid tower. With the Sea Creep available and the Enchanted Creep, it should be a pretty easy tier 1 to take. BBT, they are desperately trying to get within range to defend this, but the tier 1's basically gone. Maybe you could hope for a bit of a deny here. Not even that, though.
Yeah. Pretty heads up from Nouns. They see all of that commitment up top. They know, they know with full confidence they can use that space to clear out mid. They even up the map control a little bit more. They've bought a ton of room out again for Yuma, who is starting to catch up, equalizing with Gunner's farm at the very least, and can start to scale from there. It's building up for now. So you've got the Yasha up in the copy, so you can start to chase around, probably going for, perhaps just looking for the standard Manta BKB sort of build here. And once you have that, you certainly have your play lined up. It's a bit of a smoke out from BBT. Blade mail up from Yarrow, so he can withstand the onslaught here. Just need to find a target in.
They're gonna find Fly. Keep in mind, that is an Ent you're trying to deal with. This could take a little bit of time. They'll pick him up and slam him down, and eventually Fly surely goes down, but he's still running, still healing. Meanwhile, Save, he's the one to drop. It's the classic Ench bait. They thought they could burst him down with so many heroes, but it just wasn't enough. Fly survives and Save will drop.
It's pretty big for now. They commit a lot of ultimates coming out there from BBT. Wukong's down for quite some time here on GPK. The Monkey King doesn't quite have damage yet, just the Javelin Gloves. Needs a full Maelstrom to really start to get some split, some farm across the map going even faster, and some threat in the Wukongs. Right now, it's just not there. Obviously, you're still not expecting anything from Saika, as he is also going into Battle Fury into Yags, so not quite the full Axe rush we've been seeing in a few of the qualifiers. I think we saw that a lot in, again, Wallachia Season 2 qualifiers. It was something that was featured quite a fair bit. So just falling back into some steady build-up. Do love Nouns' position. They are pretty far here, though.
They should be able to kill Fly this time. But he is, again, very tanky. It might take a little bit of time. They'll jump in with the battle trance. They'll get it done. Fly is gone.
It's a lot of space, though. Like, I really like what Nouns are doing. They're just stalling this game, dragging all of this attention away from BBT. It feels like BBT is like a very angry, I don't know, like a bull. And Fly's just getting the target painted on his back. Bot lane has been entirely safe for Yuma. Copy's been farming. Even Gunner's being able to work into this pipe timing to block off a lot of magical damage you're going to be pumping out here with Save and with Miero. So you have a lot of good answers for like this mid-game build-up that both teams are going for. Yuma, he's still not in the comfiest spot. Again, he's not that far behind any of these cores now. The margins are slim. And Nouns, if they can get into this Battle Fury timing, if they can get into Copy's Manta, take a fight into Roshan, that's where things start to really shine for Nouns and bouncing back in this game number 2.
I find some ancient stacks here in the Dire jungle, or rather Dire triangle. Problem is Save has spotted this out. So they're very well aware this is happening, and in fact now the rotations do come in to ensure that none of the creeps will be handed the way of Nouns. Though no fight to really break out, so it seems like BBT unable to really close the gap to secure a kill. They'll still secure their own stacks though, so no problem. So, I mean, Psycha's still staying ahead of the Ursa as well, so like, it just seems like the Troll Warlord still has that inherent advantage, plus the net worth advantage you're finding. And of course, Psycha is just rushing the Ags now after the Battle Fury, and it's going to make life very hard for Nouns in terms of trying to deal with this Troll Warlord once he does have the Ags up.
Yeah. It becomes a little bit daunting as to how you try to actually burst down Psyche. You can try to sap away his damage if Copy finds the angle down the line. And that's a lot of pressure on the Razor, of course, to get that perfect static link target, which might not be the easiest thing to find. At the least, Yuma has his Battle Fury. And again, considering this game, it's only about 900 gold behind. It's a huge improvement from game 1. I think at the least it's that. You're not too far behind. You can catch up through this Battle Fury. Again, with the Battle Fury up, now should start to think about controlling the map a little bit more. Take some forward presence, try to set up for an objective or a fight into a kill as Miero.
They're getting caught out. Snowball will be there. This could be a pretty big pickoff for Nouns if they can catch him. And Miero, he's gone. They don't want to fight. No rotations to come in from BBT, so Nouns suddenly finding the highest net worth hero for BBT and taking him down quite easily.
Yeah, that's the kind of aggression they want here on Nouns. Again, they kill a high net worth target. They don't really manage to capitalize on the push, but they maintain control of the stop area. Like, this forward ward has been quite valuable for them. It's not going to be easily spotted out just yet by Toronto, although the courier should get that information down. They can start to open up the map, or at least prevent that deep movement from being as easy to line up here. Up top.
Gunner. Yeah, they've got the lasso. They've got the Wukong's command. They'll control Gunner for now. No Snowball to play with either, because he did commit it onto the creep wave, and he is gone. As soon as they saw that Snowball committed on the creep wave, it was an easy jump in, and sadly for Gunner, there was no way for him to buy time for his team to get there and save him. They are still around. They are still perhaps thinking about a fight, but BBT being quite respectful here and just backing out of there. Or are they? GPK still hanging around. Will pretend to be a tree, but it's rather obvious when you're moving GPK. It seems like now they aren't going to try and force anything. I mean, Yuma has already backed off anyway. So has Copy. Back to the drawing board. But it's still less than 1k net worth lead the way of BBT, so it just the game is so even right now.
It is. I will say it's starting to feel like Nouns can start to think about this rush timing a lot better than BBT. Again, Troll does have a little bit of that rush threat as well, but it hasn't felt like they've really worked the map out. Again, there was this entire bot area that Nouns were very comfy with, and Nouns were also invading the top jungle quite nicely, although, and they get punished once or... It is. I will say it's starting to feel like Nouns can start to think about this rush timing a lot better than BBT. Again, Troll does have a little bit of that rush threat as well, but it hasn't felt like they've really worked the map out. Again, there was this entire bot area that Nouns were very comfy with, and Nouns were also invading the top jungle quite nicely, although, and they get punished once or twice on fly, but it's an Enchantress, you don't really care. They are finding save now as well.
He's gonna try and juke through the Roshan pit, maybe a deny, but no, not quite. Copy will take him out. Another nice pickup here for Nouns, and now they can officially think about Roshan. Yuma's right around the corner. He'll just deal with the creep wave first. The question is, do BBT want to try and force a defense here for this Roshan play? I think the answer is probably going to be no. They may have just kind of accepted that against the Ursa they're going to lose this Roshan anyway. And it doesn't really seem like there's any urgency from BBT to try and get here and fight this one out.
Looks like they're kind of happy with just letting this go. Let the momentum carry through from now. And their lineup does come online a lot faster. In comparison to BBT, like even with like a Naga support, Toronto, Tokyo needs so much more to really have some impact. You need the mech, you kind of want your shard as well if you can find that. It's still going to take a lot of time until these aura items are up in your Naga to sustain through these engagements. The Ags isn't done yet in Saika. You're still working on the Gleipnir for GPK. You're working on the Ags Blink for Miero. A lot of things still need to come online. At the very least, the BKB's there for the Crown Beast, so he is secure in pulverizing one down, but doesn't quite feel like he has the durability yet to tank through everyone focusing onto him.
Miero, shards, not gonna lock down the primal. I mean, nouns, they are certainly hunting. BBT definitely looking like the team that does not want any kind of fights. I mean, you do have the Ags almost up on Saika. He's only missing the Ogre Axe, so once that's available, perhaps they will try to make some plays here with their Troll Warlord. And he's still substantially ahead of the Ursa, just by about 1k. Yuma himself going to go for a BKB pickup here on the Ursa. Pretty standard.
Already has a blink to gap close as well. Love this little play from Nouns. They shove in mid, they instantly smoke, look for a flank. Might be able to get this collapse up top while they're trying to slowly siege onto that tier 1 here.
Oh, GPK, don't move, sir. It's all right for now. Yuma looking to jump in, but no, it was all a bait. Never mind. Yuma gone. GPK. Here we go again. They'll try for Toronto, but the song is popped. The TP away is there, and well, that'll be about it. I thought originally when GPK moved, I thought Nouns would be the ones to pounce, but they just weren't quite quick enough.
No. Took the long route through the top jungle instead of running through the river. Miss out on that opportunity to collapse a little bit quicker, and BBT get a good read, get some good punish. Find a very important here to keep shut down. Again, Yuma, he's not that far behind, but he's not catching up and increasing or getting a lead for himself anytime soon here either. You still have this Aegis to play with from Copy at the very least. You can still frontline with a Razor, but honestly, it just feels like BBT does not care. They've got the full Ags up on Saika. Going for the Manta style next. They're playing tag a little bit up top, but Nera is fairly durable. Does have the BKB again to back off. And we'll just hold steady. In a prolonged match, it's kind of hard to read which way this goes, as Saika does battle trance clear out the Tormentor solo, as he's not fighting anyhow. But as it scales on, it's a little bit interesting in this match, as well, you've got the scaling out from Monkey King and the Troll. You do have scaling with Razor as well. Oh,
he got caught. I didn't quite see that, but I believe Yuma just guessed the right tree and cut it down. So very nice pickup. I mean, GPK, that's your mid core going down here to the pos 1 of Nouns. Another nice bit of gold influx here for Yuma.
Yeah, it's a important one for the Ursa to find by himself. That's going to lead to a very nice BKB timing for Yuma. Not the quickest, but still going to be on time and in a good time. It's still about the recipe away, 1.2 Kuya equal the way. Again, a very even game, a very low kill game. And the opposite of game 1, right? 5-5 at 22 minutes with a 1k lead. Last time, I think we were about 22-1 at that point, or 20-1 in game 1. So good news for Nouns. Let's see if BBT can start to ramp up here with a smoke.
They want to go. Copy. Does he sense that something's wrong? It seems like he does. He backs off at the exact right moment. No pick-off to be had. Not yet anyway. They'll try and roam up towards the top lane. Into the Radiant jungle they'll go. Yuma. Oh, he's farming that triangle. This could be very dangerous. GPK's keeping tabs. But this could be too far for BBT as well, don't forget. I mean, they are venturing pretty deep into Nouns territory. They'll go for that tier 1 top tower instead, but there is going to be a counter smoke now out from Nouns, knowing exactly where BBT are hanging about.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
But they've already found the tier 1 top tower, and well, this smoke, it starts to feel a little bit obvious.
It does. see if they can still get that collapse. I mean, Aegis is starting to fade here from Copy.
We'll find Toronto. I mean, it's something. It's not really that big of a kill, but if you're nouns, you'll take it.
Yeah, you'll take what you can get. You're stalling out again the Naga full aura timing. And the mech is up, but the Guardian Greaves aren't going to come out anytime soon. Aegis does expire, so for BBT, they do manage to hold up against the Aegis timing quite nicely. Dodge out that big power spike from Nouns, still keep that scaling. On Psycha has the Yasha up. Manta not too far off, going for the Lincolns as well, just to protect from perhaps some instant control with, say, the Snowball or the Punch, or even just the Static Link. There are some ways to pop, but this can give the troll a little bit more leeway as well from weaving in and out. Have your own auras up and ready on Nouns, full Guardian Greaves now for Lilith. See if they can... Oh?
Look how tanky this hero is, man. It's just unbelievable. The Fly is still being chased. He finally goes down.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The thing was, like, if his team was behind him, the amount of time he bought to allow a way into a fight is just unbelievable. But at the end of the day, nobody was there in time. As now Gunner still hanging about, though the Boundless does miss, and he chops down the tree of GPK and pops the spray as well. Why the hell not? And once again, it's just runaway. No fight.
It's been a good game of cat and mouse so far, although BBT are starting to get a little bit hungry here. Pressuring onto the mid, 6-6. And we're getting the opposite ends here, Mike, in terms of games. See if they finally find a kill this time.
Here we go. Gunner gets caught, and Snare will be there. A nice little shards block, though, going to make it very hard. And now GPK getting jumped here by Yuma, though the Enrage forced to be popped here by Yuma as he does need to retreat. They're still trying for the MK, but Yuma cannot keep up as now Copy. It's complete chaos in the mid lane, but Save is gone. They've lost the Batrider. They might even lose Psycha if the Battle Trance runs out, and it might very, very soon. But no, the song, Toronto, he buys the time. Psycha's out of there. Toronto, he'll be the one being left behind. They still lose two supports. It's not a great fight for BBT, but at least they get the big ones out.
I think you bail out all of the cores. It looked like a decent fight that they could have started off of, but Nouns were very ready this time around. They had their saves ready. It's really hard to pin down Gunner with his pipe, because this Tusk is starting to be a little bit of a slippery issue. You've got two really tanky heroes that can front that aren't like necessary for you to fully commit on for now. It's like if Fly gets caught, you don't care too much if there's no opportunity because it's an inch. If Gunner gets caught out, he has Snowball with Blink to save himself. He has the pipe to sustain true as well. So he's not really at risk of just getting 100 to 0'd. I think BBT have to find a way to get bigger lassos out from Save. They need to be able to find these big targets. We are seeing at least some ways of kiting Copy around with the BKB Pierce on Pulverize. Not always the easiest thing to find here from Yarrow. And that is the one thing that BP has to play off of. It's Save with Blink Lasso and Miero with whoever he decides to pulverize down here.
Top lane. Looks like they might run into Save. There is vision around this area though from BBT, so this could be a very nice fight to force, and they are going to try. Onto Fly they'll go. They want the Ench first, but Fly is just tanking through it once again. It's now GPK, copying too much damage. Still trying to man up here in his Wukong's command, but so is Gunner. GPK, he's out of damage now with that static link. He needs to get out. Still Gunner going very deep, but he will be able to blink out. Nobody dies yet. In goes Yuma once again on Toronto, but Toronto's able to walk out of there thanks to the Boundless of GPK. And BBT now, the ones to retreat, as Nouns are still looking to force the fight. But nobody's... Oh, I say nobody's left. Yuma's still having a hunt around. GPK is still there, but they will not find him.
Rather unfortunate for BBT. They don't manage to get the big lasso target they'd want. Isolating Fly really doesn't do much. Like, this Ench has proven time and time again, if you're not connecting with your Primal Beast with a trample, and the Ench is just not going to die fast enough for you to capitalize. And unfortunately for Miero, and very fortunate for Nouns, he did get distracted by Copy's illusions, ended up pulverizing on the side to try to stun in the Wukong's AoE. I don't think it reached on for the most part. So, very good news for Nouns. They get the 2k lead on top. They get another Roshan for free with a banner. you can start to consider more aggressive plays going forward. This should allow BBT to reset their cooldowns. Song will be back up for Toronto Tokyo. He's doing a great job of just ensuring mid pressure's there. So the Naga split push is there to at least stall out in some of these objectives despite having the Aegis. But nouns certainly do feel like they are getting in control of this game. BBT, the initiation angles have not been clean. At least they have a source of break now with Miero. With the full Ags up, could help out if you are jumping fly this time.
There you go. Down towards the bottom lane. T2 tower will be targeted by Psyker. And keep in mind, they're fighting against the Aegis now, but nouns are not looking to try and defend this. So Gunner's picked up his Desolator now, so you've got a lot of right-click potential here with the Tusk. Nouns looking to head through the mid lane. BBT will see if they want to try and defend. So it seems like Nouns are going to pressure this tier 2 mid tower, and well, in fairness, the mid tier 2 is just about to fall anyway. So it is basically already gone. Nouns will go ahead and take care of it. Do you want to try high ground? I mean, you do have a Roshan banner plus an Aegis.
BBT's going high ground.
Oh, BBT's going high ground. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, we do have the creep wave at the top tier 3 at the very least, Jonathan. They'll back up. That'll be enough.
They do a lot of chip damage from that tier 3. If a full commitment does come in and Saika decides not to join in, with Toronto Tokyo just shoving one lane in, he could just make a beeline for bot and just kind of even out the game that way. I like that coverage out from BBT. Seeing the Roche, knowing that the mid tier 2 would still hold, knowing how fast they can push. With a Troll, does give them a little bit of an access point later on. Nouns looking for a smoke out. No forward vision this time to try to spot out BBT though.
Mid lane. I mean, they could go for Miero if he does show on the creep wave, but nobody wanting to venture that far for that farm. Gunnar will reveal his position, so a pretty obvious smoke now for BBT to just kind of wait out. Line's being drawn through the top lane, so they might actually try to pressure this top tier 3 tower. Now, it does feel like they really want to pick off before they try to venture to that high ground, but BBT are just not providing the openings. Like, it's still 8-6 with a 1k advantage, and we're 31 minutes in basically each other. No openings really being provided.
No. Again, it's the complete opposite of last game. 8-6. No one going double digits just yet. Half an hour in.
I may have just jinxed.
Smoke.
Happy days.
Oh.
Here we go.
Good job, Mike.
No, I not. I double jinxed. Jump in. Oh, I triple jinxed it. Here we go. We're onto the race. Copy's gone, but so is Toronto Tokyo. Onto the end. Fly is also dead. Gunner. Chase is on. Gleipnir is going to land from GPK. Nice shards block from Gunner once again, but the chase will continue. Yuma's right around the corner though. He's thinking about forcing the fight, and he will jump in. They'll try for Miero first on the Primal Beast. Yuma, he'll pop the BKB. Still trying. Gunner, somehow still alive. Finally goes down. Yuma, still looking for a target. Will chase down Psyker, but he's just too fast on the Troll. They just kite out the Ursa. So they'll lose Gunner, they'll lose Fly. They lost Copy and he brought back to make matters worse. A pretty big fight here for BBT.
Yeah, it works out in their favor. Get perfect target to start on. Finding Copy in that smoke. It's a big target you really need to take care of. You can counteract 2 of your cores. It makes it very uncomfy for Saika and for GPK to try to play their games if the Razor is just alive. So they just take that out of the picture, force the buyback, stall out this butterfly timing as well for Copy, just a little bit. And he's going to make things a little bit tougher in terms of trying to scale up. And for the side of Nouns, again, they've been the ones posturing, trying to play across the river, find these pickoffs. They might be a little bit concerned about scaling, especially since you're not going for like a refresh Razor, right? Like the butterfly will allow you to man up against a lot of these hits from BBT. And again, physical output of the Troll and the Monkey aren't necessarily going to always hammer in onto the Razor at that point. But it feels like the late game Razor threats from like refresh, double BKB, double static link, and just running around being a maniac, sapping away your core damage from that point. The butterfly is not that same play. I think this is much more tempo-heavy on Copy, trying to utilize this early advantage, mid-game advantage they've built up of, and try to win a couple fights into endgame. If it falls flat here, that could give BBT a much better chance in scaling up, knowing that Refresh is not going to be up for a long time with his build.
Another big smoke up here. BBT running right towards Copy. This will be a dieback on Copy if he does get caught out. It seems like they will avoid him instead, rather looking at Gunner now down to that bottom lane, and they're going to find Fly instead. A little bit unfortunate. Oh no, they found both. Save will spot out Gunner as well. That'll be a double. The 2-for-1 special. BBT, I mean, it's just kind of back to the farm game, I suppose, right? It's just no need to rush.
No.
They know what they're doing.
And they can keep that build up. Again, it feels like with the double core of Monkey Troll, you're kind of banking on your Razor to nullify these cores. Again, Copy going for the Butterfly somewhat counteracts them. At the same time, it only allows you to really focus one down. It gives a lot of leeway for either GPK or for Saika, depending on who's not static link, to actually just play the game. You do have the full Abyssal Blade up on Yuma, so you can just stun up whoever's left alone and just try to focus one target at a time at that point, or just split the fight up. That kind of utility while the other core is trying to break static link. You have that kind of setup for yourself now in Nouns, but BBT have taken over on net worth, 4K advantage. Not the biggest lead at 35 minutes in. Nouns certainly not behind by too much of a margin here at the very least. Most of this net worth differential is coming from how underfarmed Gunner is. Like, he has been a little bit more of the sacrificial off lane. Again, going for a hybrid or build up on Tusk. He's got the Dessa with no charges up. With the BKB, perhaps that's when he can start to get more charges in. Maybe even start to consider something like the Ags being picked up to try to reposition these heroes as well. Be one way for Nouns to simplify these fights going forward here.
BBT, they're posturing once again around this top lane. Maybe just getting set up for the next Roshan attempt. You do have Nouns grouped up as well. They are indeed just checking the Roshan pit here, BBT, just in case. The Roshan's still not going to even tell us when it respawns for another 40 seconds. There's your Butterfly up on Copy, so we'll see if that does make any form of difference here in this next fight. So they are going to smoke up. The Naga illusions to come in. Copy will make it pretty obvious they are smoked though. Does BBT want this fight is the question. Fly will move forward. Miro gonna break the smoke on Yuma. I don't believe Yuma actually saw him. They'll try to get some D wards off here. Miro though still frontlining for his side. Neither side wants to pull the trigger. We're just having a bit of a standoff here at this top lane, it seems. More wards placed here by BBT. Lasso, it's on an illusion. Unfortunate. It's alright, I mean, there's just so many illusions, you've got to try one of them. In goes Fly. Yuma, he's going to make the jump in. They'll try for Miero on the Primal Beast, but the BKB is already out, and now the Pulverize has been committed. Still Yuma having a decent old time, as now the song has been committed from Toronto Tokyo, looking to try and move in onto Copy, who's getting annihilated by Saika. There goes Gunner to boot. Both of them just destroyed. As everybody else from Nouns just trying to dissipate, but save, continuing to chase Yuma, who does end up killing him off, but Yuma is certainly just set to fall. There is no help around. And an unfortunate fight for Nouns now as BBT finding a very good fight, and Roshan, it's up in 30 seconds.
It's a big timing for BBT, and that's probably the best way for that fight to go out for BBT, right? They use Lasso and an illusion, and I feel like that's now its opportunity. Instead, it falls flat. Yeah, you get this big song to bail out. You get the isolation, but pulverize out onto the Ursa while he's BKB'd and committing. You static link the Primal Beast instead of any of the two cores. So Saika and GPK just don't care. And again, because Saika shoved in bot, it's going to be a really easy process to take care of these tier 3s. One fort already used up. Doesn't take too long for the troll to just clear these objectives by himself.
Max, Saika doing it himself. They'll jump in with the kick, or rather the punch. The battle trance was already there from Saika is now, well, it's looking pretty rough for Nouns. They've already looking to lose Gunner, and they do. Saika barely survives all of them. The battle trance just in the nick of time here from Saika as Lilith is being hunted in his fountain, forced to back off. Bottom Rax is gone, and that's going to be enough for BBT.
Yep. Can go back, just take Roshan. They should know the spawn time is relatively soon. Saika's going to go back up top, check it out after clearing out some camps.
Oh, Yuma does clean up save. It's a nice little kind of pick off onto a straggler on his way out. It's just not changing the game though, is it? Like you're 11k behind now as Nouns. You've lost a Rax. You're losing Roshan as we speak. And even though BBT just played a very, very slow game, it really has felt like they've been in control.
And it has. See if Nouns can find an angle in. They did smoke up here, but the smoke breaks under the watcher.
Copy. Gonna get pulverized here by Miero, and it looks like his team was not really prepared for the fight, though he did at least get his BKB off. Still running. Saika, he's popped the battle trance, chasing very, very deep, but he's got the Aegis up. Not anymore though, it is down. Has Saika gone too far? Miero will try to jump in, but Yuma, he's right on the troll. Saika pops the BKB and tries to run. Even the song being committed, he'll survive, and now they're all locked down. The onslaught in, the Ursa in huge trouble. Gunner indeed also in trouble. They both drop.
Oh, God.
A double kill for Miero. Copy to drop to boot. Miero getting tipped throughout all of this as they've even found themselves an Ench. And I believe I just saw Yuma buy back.
Yes.
A little bit unfortunate.
Very unfortunate for the side of Nouns. BBT, I mean, it almost looked like they were just losing their minds for a moment. Saika running forward, popping battle trance early, losing the Aegis just like that. You know, looking like he was getting impatient with this game, but it works out. Toronto Tokyo saves the day. Great song. You gotta love that. Naga Siren shards that, you know, when it was fresh, I was like, oh, it's a very fun shard. And, well, we've been seeing a lot of it over the years now as well. And that's just going to be straightforward high ground again. Saika's got the damage to dig through all of the objectives for the MKB. Last fort fight to kick in here. At the least, mega creeps aren't going to be coming in, and respawns are relatively short. You should still be able to hold up with one lane to yourself here on Nouns. But BBT blow this game wide open, 11-19, 2TK lead up for themselves. And the side of Nouns, well, it's really rough for Copy, right? Like, he's running in, he's always static linking Miero, and he's not really able to focus down and try to find Saika, try to find GPK to static link to take out one of these cores from the equation. And that's where all these issues come in. Like, once they see that commitment onto Miero, GPK and Saika are just like, all right, we'll go in. We've got damage. We don't need to care about Razor. He's not even, you know, dealing with us. Well, what worries do they have if they're not static link targets?
That's a fair point, John. It has been pretty rough here for Copy. Not the ideal Razor game, that's for sure. Now a Swift Blink available on Saika, so things got even worse here for Nouns as Copy's just being watched at the moment. They'll even be. I say Swift Blink, Save just picked up an Aghanim Scepter. Double Lasso available. Up towards the top lane they'll go. Smoke on smoke scenario, but this could be Nouns' last team fight. If they can't make this one work, the game is basically as good as done. Lasso is out. Who have they caught? It's gonna be Lilith. Snap fire down. Miero, he's in. Copy. He'll be alright for now. The pulverize was cancelled. Copy though, where's he going? The Razor, he'll head up north, but it's not the way to go. He is dead. Meanwhile, Gunner's just trapped in the tree line by the looks of it as Yuma's going to try and force another fight, but really gets nothing out of it. BKB's being forced out, but it's not doing anything. Meanwhile, Gunner has been spotted on the tree line. Chase on. He'll blink away back towards the south, but Toronto's right behind him. Here comes Save to boot, and Gunner is gone. There's two down without buyback here for Nouns.
Yeah. And that should just be the last of the racks to go here for BBT to take. Again, Yuma could not afford to die. He bought back a while ago. He's going to have to try to just hold out here as Tree. I don't see the angle. I think without that
So again, it's a double lasso. A double lasso from Save, and that'll about do it. GG is called. Nouns have seen enough. Positive is game 2 was a lot closer, but at the end of the day, BBT certainly proving to be the much better team here today, at least in their series up against Nouns Esports. And I'm sure they'll be leaving their room very, very happy after that one.
That they will be. Game 1, a little bit more, of course, of a complete stop, a complete shutout from BBT. Game 2 being a lot more even now to correct and draft. They had supports that could play the lanes a little bit better. Their lanes weren't completely washed out up against BBT. They weren't getting run down early on. You had the Snapfire on your end. You had this Enchantress buying space on fly, getting that space out for Yuma to farm up. It's just they were looking for the aggression. They couldn't find the openings, and again, it was a tough game for Copy. He had 2 cores to worry about, couldn't find either one, just forced to kind of try to link up on Miera and hope for the best.
Absolutely. Props to BBT, of course, and we do have a lovely panel we can head over to see what they have to say about this game too.
A nice clean 2-0 there in our best of 2 for the group stage. BB team coming in, and for Nouns, it was looking like that could have been a win on the cards for them. I thought, hey, maybe this is another series that we're going to see get tied up. I really liked what that offlane Tusk for Gunnar was doing compared to the Sand King. And you talked about this comfort over meta. If you're able to just squeeze out a 1 or 2 more percentages out of a hero that you're playing, Jenkins, like maybe that's something you go for, and you could definitely feel the difference when it came to laning phase between the 2.
I liked the comfort, but Fear was mentioning it as we were watching the draft, just like what the hell is going on? Like this is
True.
One of the worst Tusk games you can imagine. Playing into a potential monkey carry and then eventually a troll carry, which arguably is even worse. Maybe a Naga carry, which is also miserable. Batrider can do well against a Tusk in lane as well with some sort of rotation. So it's
in fact, those are probably his 3 worst matchups.
Yeah, he did his best, and I do like seeing the comfort. I do like how he played in this game, but it just was a bad hero. Like, there's a reason this hero is not picked in the offlane. I wanted to be proven wrong about that, but that's also kind of why I wasn't hyping it up too much in the draft.
Like they had a moment in the game where they were hitting a really strong timing. At 18 minutes, 17 minutes, they got Roshan, and Tusk kind of almost had he already had his pipe at that point. And I just felt like they needed to use that momentum to kind of take the fight. Because instead, what happens is they got Roshan, and Razor had Manta at that point, but he chose to continue farming his BKB instead of like just playing around. So they didn't really use the first A-Gaze to do anything at all.
I fully agree. And then what happened was Copy was taking safe farm as well. Okay, this Razor was in his own try, and then you had the Tusk and the Enchantress and sometimes the Ursa in this more dangerous space. And BB team were able to get the pick off. They had the numbers advantage, and then you felt them just have to retreat. The Razor not joining to help try and defend and at least take some part of a fight. And so it was always a numbers advantage for BB team, and they slowly built up a lead to, okay, now the Monkey King is ahead of the Razor in net worth, and we're not really sure what else we can do.
I mean, from the Razor's point of view, he thinks that he needs Manta plus BKB to join the fights. But at the same time, when you're playing the game, you're not the only one in the game, and you need to look at, is someone else hitting their timing? I think with the pipe on the Tusk and the Aegis on the Ursa, they're hitting a really, really strong timing, and he's kind of wasting it by trying to get to his own later timing.
Yeah.
When they could have just taken control of the game at that point. Because there are